So, welcome to Her Story Thursdays. This is actually our first podcast called Her Story Matters. It's for creatives, connecting creatives and business. And today we're going to talk about the sisterhood strategy. And I have one of the most amazing women I know. She is a native of Jersey City. No, not a native. Well, somewhat. She's like, I consider her the mayor of Jersey City. She is really, really amazing. She has amazing businesses, but more importantly, she's definitely been somebody that I go to talk about collaboration. And so I'm going to let her introduce herself and just talk a little bit about some of her businesses. And the first thing I wanted her to start with is just kind of, how have you turned collaboration into currency?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Tolonda Ross. I am currently a real estate agent. I own Tigers Consulting, and I also own Art and Heels. Okay, with Art and Heels, I am a paint party host, and I feature my art in the paint parties. But then when I go to help my customers as far as with Tigers Consulting, I sit down and I talk to them. I figure out who they are and what we can do to make their brands better. So that's one of my other businesses. I'm also a real estate agent and real estate investor. Before I retired pretty early, but before I retired, I was hustling a lot. I had several jobs. I'm sure many of the people here know me from different jobs. Growing up throughout Jersey City, I've always worked. And I bought my first property when I was in my 20s. And I bought my property because I was upset that my grandmother's property was going to hell. Okay, people start fighting over family members and things like that. And at the time, I was dating a much older person, and he told me, "That's her empire. You go out and you build yours." And I was like, you know what? Okay. And that really is what got my wheels going. I purchased the building, and then I opened up a hair salon, nail salon, and it was the biggest thing in that town. And when you say currency, the changer, what did you say?
I said, how have you used collaboration as currency?
For my collaboration how do I use currency how do I use collaboration as currency?
Yes.
So, the building, now this was many years ago, that was out of town. Actually, it was in South Carolina. So what I could do, instead of hiring people, they were renting booths from me. I could have people sell things in my store, and I didn't have to pay them anything. That is using collaboration as currency.
Yeah.
That's when I first started. So years later, you can see I opened up my collaboration hub in Jersey City. I did that because I knew so many people who have businesses and really attempting to get started. That's what I would do. I would pretty much do the same thing, open up my doors and say, hey, you want to do a paint party here? Or while I'm doing my paint party, why don't you do a pop-up shop in here? You don't have to pay me, but the reason why I'm going to allow you to come in, sometimes I charge, but sometimes I didn't. And sometimes I did that because they were bringing in an audience. They're bringing in their following. They're bringing in a whole different genre of people. There's people here that I've met today that I met before because they were in my establishment, and perhaps it wasn't because of me. It was because they needed something and we could exchange, not currency, but collaboration.
Yeah.
So that's
because you used it as currency, because one of the things is we spend money on marketing, right? People always ask you, what's your marketing budget? But what it sounds like you did is you utilized other people's audiences, you utilized their marketing, and then you gave away something, but you also use that as currency. So instead of you having to pay for marketing, you automatically got that.
I do have an undergrad in marketing.
I mean, so there you go. So you already knew the strategy. I guess one of the questions I also have is, a lot of times as business, especially I think the conception is women that, we like it's hard to do business together. It's hard to collaborate. It's how did you like make that into a myth, or how did you kind of help women see the importance of collaborating? They always say what is it the saying, if you go by yourself, you can go halfway, but if you go with a group, you can go far. Or doesn't so just like that whole idea of coming together versus trying to go at it by yourself. How did you kind of help women see the value in that?
I actually, sometimes what I would do, I would see someone who would post something and they say, I'm getting my business started or whatever. I would actually just reach out to them and ask them to come and talk to me.
Okay.
And then after we have our little sit down, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Okay. And then I figure out how can I incorporate myself into what you're doing so that I can help you and you can help me. And it changes each time because everyone is different. So everyone's business is different. So I wouldn't give each person the same advice because nothing is the same. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a lot of girl fights?
Not at all. And I would do even once a month, I did a Queen's pop-up shop.
Okay.
So, yeah, we would do, it was pretty cool.
I think the reason why I asked that is because I think that, sometimes as women, there's that kind of, we do a lot of collaborative work together, but there's this myth that like we're going to like bump heads, or, we're not going to be able to get along, or, the back and forth, the behind your back. And so, trying to help people see how it's actually more beneficial for you than trying to do it by yourself is really what, I'm also trying to do here, Her Story. Like,
Right.
You can go do your own Her Story, or you can go do your own event. But if we do it together, I know these two amazing girls that are trying to put together a coffee shop.
Right.
And I think what they have, the power that they have, is that they've recognized they've done really well by themselves. But now, as they became mature in their business, they're saying, wait a second, I can go even further with you. So it's not like we're in competition, I guess. It's now we're seeing ways that we can collaborate.
Right.
Versus, because that's the other thing. How did you kind of deal with competition? Or did you have any competition? Are you looking at me?
Yeah. No. No one has competition. Okay. Everyone is an individual, right? If you market yourself properly and you hone in your skills, you can pull in anyone that needs your service or wants your service. Okay? I'm also a real estate agent. You know how many real estate agents are out here?
That's true.
Okay, so, and I think that as time goes on, a lot of the corporate jobs are going to start dissolving. We're going to have a lot of people who are out here creating their own jobs and their own businesses, and then it won't be so weird that women are collaborating or want to work together. We just have an old history. We have a history of not working together because we have been in competition in the workplace. Mm. So it's a little
like
different.
It can only be one of us.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot different when you're in business for yourself or you want to go into business. You want to work with other people that's going to elevate you and you're going to help them.
Got it. So if we think about now, you and I are kind of OGs, right, in this environment, somewhat, there are a lot of women that are coming to us asking us, like, where do I even start? If I want to collaborate, if I came into a room like this, I don't know anybody, I'm a bit intimidated because some of you guys have had 2 careers already, right? You got several businesses. How do I start to collaborate? What do I even do? And especially if I'm a little bit shy.
Wow.
Like, I'm not a networker by nature, but how do I position myself to be in collaboration?
Well, what I used to do a lot, and I used to go to a lot of networking events just by myself. And maybe I wasn't that great in the beginning, but you have to get out there sooner or later. And in the beginning, I would go to a lot of networking events that had to do with things that I like. Okay. Now, I don't do that all the time. Now I go anywhere because I'm going to talk to everybody and you can find a client or a friend or referral anywhere. A lot of times if you go somewhere where everyone is in the same field, it's not going to be the same, right? I often prefer to go places where I don't need to go somewhere where everyone's a real estate agent. I do it periodically, but if I did that all the time, where am I going to get clients?
True.
So you have to like switch it up. You don't want to do the same thing all the time, and you don't necessarily need a routine when you're going out to meet people.
Yeah. You know what I did? One of the things that I did was I had a buddy system. Me and my girlfriend, this is like more in my younger years. I don't get to go out as much because it's always my husband and I are like, who's going to this party? Like you or me, right? And in my younger years, I would have a buddy, right? And we would go and we would like hype each other up. And we would like really make goals. Like, because I'm actually an introvert. I'd rather be at home chilling by myself. I don't really like people, right? But if you meet me, you wouldn't think that about me because I would always put it on. Like we would like put it on. And we would like make goals for ourselves. Like, you better come back here with this amount of business cards or just to push ourselves because we didn't want to do it. But we understood very early on relationships are important. I was just telling my husband, you know, in my career, I've always been that very smart, talented Black girl. My talent has pushed me very far. And my latest job as an executive has shown me that I thought relationships matter, but they matter a whole lot more than what I know. I mean, to the point where the lack of my relationships put me in a position where I couldn't fight. My talents were not enough.
Gotcha.
Right? And so now that I'm a little bit more seasoned, one of the things that I do is I force myself to go. Because we get kind of settled. Like, you could get settled. You know everybody in Jersey City. If I tell you a name, you're like, oh, I know so-and-so. I'm like, well, why do you even go to events anymore? But I think that you go because you understand the power of staying relevant. Because I'm telling some of my husband's business. So don't tell him I told y'all this, okay? This is not public knowledge, and it's a secret, so don't tell anybody. So my husband was, he was like, I'm a beauty and fashion photographer, and I didn't get any invites for Fashion Week. And I said, because you're not fresh on anybody's mind. Just because you was it yesterday, don't mean you it today. Right. You might have went to 10 years of Fashion Week, and you was that guy. But you've been at home making babies with me, and you didn't have time to invest in it and go out and meet people. And so people forgot about you. And we think about, and as a business owner, that will destroy you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have another goal, guys. My other goal is to, in the month of September, attend 2 events of people that come to her store. One of the things I'm really bad at is because I put so much into like my business, my family, my home, is that Jenny will send me 3 invites and say, you gotta go. And I'll be like, I'm going. And then my husband be like, but remember, it's your turn to change the diaper. And then I'm like, Jenny, I can't go. But I'm putting myself first as a business owner because I have to get out there. Because it's easy for a man to like, oh, I'm going to, but I become an afterthought. I'm like Antonio and Magnum Opus.
Never underestimate the value of social media.
True. So let's talk about that. What do you think about social media? Because I still feel like social media, maybe because I don't use it well. Y'all know I put some stuff out there. Y'all might follow me. I still got 300 followers. I cannot get more than 300 followers.
A lot that goes into
So should I care about followers?
Yeah.
She just busted my bubble. She was like, yeah, you should.
But I don't know. I think it also depends on what platform you're on. Okay, because I looked at my son's TikTok yesterday. I don't follow him, okay?
You're on TikTok?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's where I put all my fun stuff.
Oh, I don't.
And that's part of it. You can't just be a business person. You have to have a personality. You have to have social media. You have to look a certain way. Like you have to have a total package.
Okay.
right?
So you feel like that's a part of like collaborate?
I was looking at my son's his TikTok, and he only had like 300 followers, but every single post had like thousands of likes.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's because of the type of stuff he's posting and people don't want to follow him, or he doesn't want to follow anyone back, but
Oh, I don't follow people.
it all depends. It all depends on what you're posting about.
Okay.
So that's what you have to do. You figure out, you think about your business, you sit down, you come up with a plan, and when you're doing your marketing, social media is part of that.
Well, you taught me something. When you created that group, I didn't understand the power of Instagram groups.
And that was nothing. That's what I do all the time.
But now I feel like I can talk to y'all. Like I can wake up and be like, "What's up, girls?" You know, or somebody can post something. I feel so connected to you guys. Like I'm a part of something. And when you did that, like I could have, like again, you like you always say, we're all talented. Like who couldn't thought of a group? But how powerful that group became. Like people share their events. Like, can you support me? And by the way, if you're not in the Her Story group, let me know and I'll add you. If you are, post, let us support you. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm always both. No, this is the group. We want you to tell us, how can we support you? What's your business? This is collaboration, or just, that's how you collab. I did not understand. That is like, that's
I'm
my
in a group
currency.
called Collaboration Over Competition. I've been in that group for years.
Really? Is it open to people?
Yeah. There's a few men, but mostly business owners, people who want to get out there and do things, and they have coaches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I won an award. I was honored from them.
So can we join?
Of course.
So what is it called
It's
again?
Collaboration Over Competition.
Collaboration
They're
Over
on Instagram.
Okay. I really understand that. I think the last question we talked about, like, you know, what could you recommend for somebody getting into collaboration? What's one of the biggest, like, if you could do over that you didn't do in the beginning when it comes to collaboration?
Okay. Collaboration is different than partnering.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's talk about that a little bit before we go there.
Okay.
I'll remember the question.
Okay.
Let's talk about the difference between collaboration and partnering.
Okay. So when I collaborate with someone, let me think about. You said what was a good thing, or what was the question again?
Well, the first question I wanted to know is, when you started out, what's one of those things you said, if I could do it over, I would, when it comes to collaboration? Is there something you would, is there any mistakes you made or something that you would do over?
Not with collaborating, because when I think of collaboration, I think I have my stakes in this, you have your stakes in this. And I'm only going to collaborate with you if we have something that's going to be beneficial to both of us, right? And that usually happens. My problem is with partnering, or when there's a monetary value attached to it. So I like the collaboration currency is that the word?
Yeah.
I like collaboration currency over partnering or even doing anything with money, because that gets sometimes messed up too when you're separating the what you made at the end of the day and things like that. You keep things separate, everything is fine. If you don't have, and I find that a lot of creatives don't have contracts.
Who say it? That's what I was just about to talk about.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't do the partnership stuff a lot. Is a lot of times it's collaboration. Oh, we'll all be there together. Let's show up. We'll do our best, and that's it. And I usually we've already gone through our show or whatever we're doing, because I do so many like types of stuff. So
that's interesting you said that, because I always think about collaboration and partnership as marriage and dating. Collab is like, I'm dating you, but like anytime I could leave, right? And I really can be, I feel like people that, like, not people who collaborate, but a lot of times we use it so we're non-committal. And that's just my thought about it. I think the challenge where we feel like partnership is challenging, because I would agree with you. I think a lot of times I do like to collaborate in a partnership, but I think partnership takes a lot of more kahunas, because it requires you to put things like what they are. It requires you to have contracts. It requires you to have I think as women, sometimes the difficult conversations, like we don't want to be very straight. And I also think that unfortunately people don't know the difference between reciprocity and transaction.
Right.
And sometimes we make people a transaction instead of creating reciprocity. I was just telling two of the ladies that I met a couple of weeks ago, and they run coffee shops, and we were just talking about, collaboration and things being transactional, and how quickly sometimes people make things very transactional. And I can make things transactional with you. It's not my goal, but I've learned, and my husband has helped me understand this, to be a little bit more tougher in business, is that there are going to be some people that are transactional with you, and there's going to be some people that are reciprocity. You have to figure out how to use both of them to the benefit of your business. And as a woman, I tend to go away from the transactional because it doesn't make me feel good. Because I like to feel good when I do business with people, right? You don't want to do business with people you don't like. And my husband tells me all the time, you don't have to like them to do business with them. But I struggle with that. And so when somebody is transactional with me, he always gives me that look like, don't do it. Because I'll be like, let me tell you about yourself. Because I'm very authentic. Like, I need to be because I'm trusting you. Trust is a big thing for me. It could be, I grew up with a single mother, my father wasn't, I have a trust issue, especially with men-owned businesses. I'm not like this with women. I was telling him, he always says, that's why he gets a DJ he told me, he was like, it's strategic. He introduces me to women businesses because I will open up the floodgates for you. Because I feel that there is a connection that we're being. With men, I'm very harsh. I'm so cutthroat with men that I heard somebody say, why don't your wife like me? So I understand what you're saying, but I'm learning how to do both with women. Some women, they may be just transactional. They don't really want to build something with me. They want to get something, and we can partner. But I have to be very clear. So like you said, creative women, I'm always on creative women. Even when they do business with me, let's write it down on paper. That can be our contract, but let's write it down. Let's be clear about what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Because I just can't operate like that. And so we always talk about like dating and marriage, because collaboration is like dating. Like if I say I want to collaborate with you, it's because I'm trying to feel you out. Mm-hmm. If I say I want to partner with you, you gain my trust.
Okay.
And so that's how I decide. So I hope I don't offend anybody if I ever say.
So
but
if you say, "Oh, we could do a collab," then
I'm giving out my secrets right now. If I say I want to collab with you, not that I don't like you, but I just don't.
You don't trust them.
I want to date. Is something wrong with that? I want to date you. Like, you can't. Like, I told this one guy, he was laughing because I always put my husband on the spot because I need him to understand, like, you do business as a man, I'm going to do business as a woman. And so he was saying, you got to be all in. And I said, do you think my husband walked up to me at day one and was like, are you all in? I didn't know him. I need to understand his stock. I needed to talk to his mama. I need to observe how he acts around his father. I needed to do some homework.
But you have to think, too. You're married. Many women are single, and they are out here in this world who cannot do the same thing or rely on their husband to do that. So they have to know how to turn on that masculinity, or not necessarily masculinity, but a certain tone in their voice.
Yeah.
Because they still have to do the same thing.
Well, I started later in life. For a long time, I was doing it by myself. And so I think also that helped me learn how to like turn it on. But I do agree with you as women. When you talk about collaborative currency, I think sometimes we are guarded too, because we don't get to be walking our feminine power. Like with you, Tolonda, I will probably tell you open up to you, allow you to critique me, help me, all of those things, because I feel like I can be in a soft place with you. But like you said, there are a lot of women that don't have that shield, so they don't. Collaboration doesn't come easy.
But do you find that in the workplace, in the corporate sector, that you feel like even though you're around women and men there, that you couldn't open up to the women there?
That's true. You're hitting on something really big. If we even go outside of creative and entrepreneurship women, I don't trust a lot of women in corporate America. But I don't trust anybody
That's a profound thing to say.
in corporate America. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I have evidence. This just didn't happen because I was like, I don't trust no, like, it's demonstrated itself over and over. Like, the pattern just feels like, it feels like every time I show up to a job, I'm like, I just met you at the last job. And I try to, and even when I do try to open up something, and my husband remind me, he'd be like, they not your friends.
Exactly.
But in here, to be very honest with you, when we talk about collaborations as women of creative, I feel like I've created friendships. Like, Jenny is just not somebody. Jenny could ask me for the world and I would support her because she's created reciprocity with me. Right. She's developed a friendship with me.
You know, the difference is when you're at work and in the corporate sector, have to be nice. These people are going to be there every single day with you and different things like that. So you need to have that I have to get along thing. But when you're collaborating with someone and something happens, you don't have to do it again.
True.
So it's a big difference, you know, with how you're receiving them. Because even in here, you wouldn't have to have them come back or.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So
but I might see them in. I might see them in Jersey City.
You can still say
That's happened too. I've seen somebody who didn't want to do business with me no more, and we accidentally walked up into an ice cream shop, and my husband was like nudging me, like, and I was like, "Hey!" And we were both, and the person was like,
"Oh shoot,"
you know. And so you're right, but you know, you also, like you said, you don't have to see them day in and day out. So I agree with that. I mean, I think this again. I think that. The reason why I wanted to invite you because I feel like you've done an amazing job with that I've seen in Jersey City to be very supportive, and you've created collaboration to me that is very impactful. I've seen you do it.
It started because I worked for government.
Okay.
So first I started mayor's office. You know, I started doing things, city clerk and different things like that. People would come to me for help.
Okay.
So regardless of what it was, I get a call because somebody's milk was too expensive. Like, why is the milk going up? Like, stuff like that. I would totally get, why is the bus fare going up? I don't know. I can't do anything about it, but they're still going to call me.
Yeah.
And I was almost late today because someone's calling me about their home and being sold, and they're crying, elderly lady. So I didn't come at 6 exactly, but you know what I'm saying? That's just me. So I've been doing this for many years. I worked for the city of Jersey City 31 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know how many people's marriage licenses I signed? And proclamations and resolutions and stuff like that, honoring people. So it's you know, it's a long time. I've gotten to know many people, and I've done it because I was being nice most of the time.
You should do a master class in the art of collaboration. I think that you've been doing it so long, it's just second nature to you.
It really is.
Well, I have enjoyed this so much. We're going to turn it over to the audience. Ask your question, and then we will repeat it. But ask whatever. As you can see, I get real up here. Like, I want to know the real, and I talk real. So if you have a question, let us know.